Hello, everybody. I'm Dennis Prager. Thank you for being with me. The reason that I have Michael Fumento on the show when medical things occur is very simple. He's always been right. That doesn't mean he's right now. There's no way to know. But I just want you to understand, with Dennis Prager, he has a perfect track record. And it started with a very controversial thesis, which is how he came to my attention, his best-selling book, The Myth of Heterosexual AIDS, and how the media hyped something that existed, but the media exaggerated beyond anything that can possibly be called truth. And it had an agenda. The agenda was to destigmatize gays. The agenda wasn't science. The agenda wasn't protecting life. It was to destigmatize gays. So much of science has been corrupted by the left that it is now not even shocking to report what I just said. So now the issue is the coronavirus, which has no political overtones. And I'm talking to Michael Fumento, who is currently in the Philippines trying to contract coronavirus. Wherever the virus is reported, Michael goes. I'm kidding, by the way, folks. But that is where he is right now, in the Philippines. Michael Fumento, we spoke about this about a month ago, 3 weeks, a month ago. And do you still believe that we have more hysteria than science taking place?
Oh, there's been a massive, literally disastrous outbreak. Don't get me wrong. Did you know this? All the gains from the U.S. stock market.
Hold on, Michael. Is it possible to get clear? Are you speaking right into a phone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's not the clearest connection, but you are in the Philippines. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, my Wi-Fi went down today. I'm on data. It was a bad coincidence.
Okay. Yeah.
It has been absolutely disastrous. The U.S. stock market, which was way up for the year, all those gains have now been wiped out in just the last couple of days, and it's all from coronavirus fear. So a lot of good people have lost a lot of money over this. Not to mention the sheer fear. You know, the people that I'm saying walking around with these basically useless masks that they're using like rabbit's feet around their necks, basically. Misallocation of resources. You know, all the horrible things that come with hysteria. That's what we're seeing. But here is one little data set that really speaks volumes. According to the Centers for Disease Control, as of a week ago, the United States had anywhere from 16,000 to 41,000 flu deaths. As of today, the United States has deaths from this novel coronavirus, 0. And that just, absolutely speaks volumes. And it's just basically like that around the world. China, by far, has borne the brunt of this epidemic. Over 90% of the cases, over 90% of the deaths. The total deaths from this virus in the world, almost all of them in China, have been about 2,700. I guarantee you, hundreds of thousands of Chinese have died this flu season from the flu. Hundreds of thousands compared to about 2,000 from coronavirus. And nobody's talking about those. This is I would say it's stunning, but we've both been here many times, haven't we, Dennis?
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder, it is a very interesting question. What would the people who are panicked in the media, what would they say to what you just pointed out? How many deaths in the U.S. from the regular flu, as it were? What did you say this year?
16,000 confirmed flu deaths and as many as 41,000 total.
Right. Nobody,
And again,
essentially, and zero, of course, from the coronavirus. So how do
right,
you...
as indeed, okay.
No, all
sorry.
right. So how do you explain what you consider to be the panic? Is it to the media love hysteria? It gets eyeballs. Is it the human condition that people panic over the unknown? What is, because I know what animated the heterosexual AIDS in America. That was political. What is the agenda here?
Well, this actually is turning political. The Democrats are now using it against President Trump, saying that he's downplaying it. That basically he's not governing the disease correctly, something along those lines. So it has become political. And on the other side, you have Rush Limbaugh saying that it's basically no more lethal than a cold, and that's not quite true either. It is more lethal than a cold, but it appears to be right on par with influenza, no different from everything we know. So in the last 24 to 48 hours, it's become political as well. But it is mostly what you just said. It is mostly, selling ad space, stuff like that. And it's clearly being led by the Corona News Network, otherwise known as CNN. CNN basically ignored the impeachment hearing for coronavirus. It's absolutely stunning. I've never seen them go this wild in CNN's history over a single issue.
There's an article in the Atlantic that just came out. I don't know if you've seen it. It literally just came out, I think yesterday or today. And the thesis of it is, let's see here. The headline is, it's by James Hamblin, and it was published yesterday, came out today. You're likely to get the coronavirus. That is the headline. Most cases, subheadline. Most cases are not life-threatening, which is also what makes the virus a historic challenge to contain. All right, so how do you react to the headline?
The headline does not match the article. I read the article. The article is kind of basically making the point that probably the vast majority of people who contract this virus will have no symptoms whatsoever. They won't have a sniffle. They won't have a cough. They won't have a sore back. No symptoms. Of those remaining, the vast majority will have such minor symptoms, a cough, a sniffle, a sore back, that they'll never report to a hospital, they'll never call their doctor, anything like that. Now, he's making the point that I think that can be flipped around to say, well, these people are showing no symptoms whatsoever, but they could be spreading the virus. We actually don't know that. But the good news is, quite obvious in what I just said. The vast majority of people who get this thing won't even know it because it's so darn mild. And actually the same is true of the flu. You've had the flu far more times than you think you've had. You probably think you get the flu maybe, every 6 or 7 or 8 years or something like that. Nah, you get the flu more often than that. I guarantee you.
Why are they panicking in Italy?
For the same reasons that they're panicking really everywhere, including even China. Now, China is the epicenter. China's had there have been about 2,700 deaths worldwide, and over 2,000 have been in China. But again, remember that probably by now China has had hundreds of thousands of influenza deaths. But influenza comes every year to China. In fact, it comes out of China. China produces every influenza that's ever hit the world. It starts in the pigs, it goes to ducks and geese, and then it goes to humans in China, and then it goes to the rest of the world.
Right. You don't
So
think it was a lab? Or you don't think it was a Chinese lab? I'll get your response when we come back. 1-8-Prager-776. Many of you have questions or concerns. Happy to hear them.
The Dennis Prager Show.
Don't you feel like a crying?
Do you know that this type of music actually produces endorphins in me? It's an amazing, it's a rational reaction. I love it that much. Hey, I want to remind you before I get back to Michael Fumento about a movie playing in theaters. I'm urging all of you to see it. It isn't just a terrific film, it's an important film about a man many of us deeply admire, Justice Clarence Thomas. It features Thomas himself talking about his uniquely American journey, one that begins in crushing poverty and in segregation in the South, and ends with Thomas confronting Senate Democrats in a confirmation battle that would test his and the nation's soul. It's an amazing story, and you'll laugh and you'll cry and you'll be very happy you saw it. It's called Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words. Conservatives everywhere should see it. In fact, non-conservatives should really see it. For theater locations, showtimes, and tickets, go to justicethomasmovie.com, justicethomasmovie.com. Dennis Prager here, and there's a very odd thing. Sometimes this happens. A whole bunch of calls with people's concerns about the coronavirus, and then they hung up, which is fine. I'm just noting to you an interesting phenomenon. And so obviously there are lines open if you want to ask Michael Fumento, who believes that we're engaged in another form of hysteria. Now, it may turn out he's wrong, and I can only tell you he's been right every time that I have called him on any of these medical science issues over the course of well over a decade. When did you write The Myth of Heterosexual AIDS?
The original article was back in 1987, and then I turned it into a book in 1990.
Right. I remember the original article was in Commentary Magazine. I read it there.
Correct.
Yep. That's 1987. So I have been 13. Wow. I've been talking to you for about 25 years. And every time I talk to him, he's in another country. I'm just...
That's true.
Yeah.
You mentioned that I may prove to be wrong. It's too late to say that. I've already been proved right. And here's how we know. And almost nobody knows this. The epidemic of this novel coronavirus actually already plateaued in China, the originating country, about 2 weeks ago. Plateau means it's flattened out, the number of new cases and deaths, and they are now dropping in the original country. That means that in the subsequent countries that have been highly affected, it will soon or already is plateauing and will be dropping.
Well, I don't understand, though. Forgive me, Michael, if it's that contagious, why is it plateauing?
It follows the pattern that we always see, that we see with influenza, that we saw with the SARS virus, that we saw with Ebola. All of these things follow more or less a bell-shaped curve. It's not a perfect bell, of course. But originally, the original speed at which they grow is the fastest. And then they slow, and they slow, and then they eventually flatten, and they start to decline. Now, that's not to say that it won't be back next year. Influenza comes every year, and it follows that more or less bell-shaped curve. So, of course, I knew without using a crystal ball or anything like that, that this epidemic would do the same as well, because they all do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It happens every year.
So
It's nothing new here.
I had left the last break with a question. From what I've read, I surmise, but it may be worthless, but I surmise it began in a lab, in a viral lab in China. You don't think that that's the case?
It's possible that research scientists have gotten to a point where they can do something like this. There's just no evidence that they've really done this.
Right.
One day, don't get me wrong, one day they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
That day has come yet.
All right, my friend. I wish the connection were clearer. Let's work on that for the next call. Because so you're an important man, Michael Fumento. Do we have a? Oh no, he has an email. He doesn't have a website, right? Let me get that from you so that people can contact you. How do people contact you, Michael? Or did he go already? Okay. Michael, how do people contact you?
Yeah, I saw the website, Fumento.com, and it's also...
Oh, there is? Okay, good. Okay, good. There is a website. Okay. All right. We'll figure out a better connection for next time, Michael. Anyway, folks, look, nobody on Earth can make predictions, but based on, I remember, Ebola and SARS and